But if Hamas rejects your plan, Mr. President, then Israel will finish the job by itself. This can be done the easy way, or it can be done the hard way. But it will be done.
The Trump administration has unveiled its long-awaited Gaza plan, a document that is less a roadmap to peace and more, honestly, a stark ultimatum. As of today, October 4th, 2025, the proposal sits on the table demanding a fundamental transformation of the Gaza Strip under immense pressure. The core of the plan requires Hamas to completely disarm, relinquishing every rocket, relinquishing every rifle, relinquishing every tunnel. This is the non-negotiable first step. In exchange, the administration promises a phased lifting of the economic blockade, but only after disarmament is verified by a third-party observer. It's a transactional approach. Security concessions demanded upfront, economic incentives only later. For Hamas, the Trump plan presents an existential threat, making its rejection almost certain. The demand for complete disarmament strikes at the core of the organization's identity. Hamas sees itself not as a political party, but as a national liberation movement, a resistance movement. The Al-Qassam brigades, Hamas's armed wing, underpin its legitimacy, underpin its public support, underpin its power. Laying down arms would be total capitulation, a betrayal of its founding ideology of resisting occupation. It would be political suicide, stripping away its leverage, stripping its claim to be the true defender of the Palestinian cause, a narrative sharpened against the Fatah-led Palestinian Authority. The political clauses are equally untenable. Ceding Gaza to its bitter rival, the Palestinian Authority, will be a catastrophe. With Hamas's rejection widely anticipated, Israel has already prepared a series of potential responses, signaling that the failure of the Trump plan will not return things to the previous status quo. The first and most immediate option is a sharp escalation of military pressure. It would likely begin with a campaign of precision airstrikes. Those strikes would target military infrastructure. They would also target key figures in Hamas's political leadership. The aim: degrade Hamas's command and control capabilities, and impose a heavy cost for refusal. This approach, often called mowing the grass, seeks to reset the balance of power, re-establish deterrence, force Hamas back to the negotiating table on weaker terms, or cripple its ability to govern. If airstrikes aren't enough, planners may consider a limited ground incursion. They would avoid a full-scale reoccupation of Gaza. Instead, targeted raids into neighborhoods or border areas, to destroy tunnel networks, to destroy rocket launching sites. Any Israeli military response following the plan's collapse would inevitably trigger a grave humanitarian crisis in one of the world's most densely populated areas. An intensified campaign of airstrikes, potential ground incursions, would place Gaza's 2.3 million residents, half of whom are children, in extreme peril. With limited bomb shelters and no safe exit, the civilian population is exceptionally vulnerable. Hospitals, already overwhelmed and short on supplies, would be pushed past the breaking point. The destruction of essential infrastructure, power plants, water treatment facilities, sanitation systems would have cascading effects, heightening disease risk and deepening human suffering. These are the predictable and tragic consequences of renewed large-scale conflict in a confined space. From a legal standpoint, anticipated actions raise profound questions under international humanitarian law, particularly the principle of distinction, the principle of proportionality.
They're going to have to do some things.
In the final analysis, the Trump administration's Gaza plan is unlikely to deliver lasting peace because it fundamentally misdiagnoses the nature of the conflict. By treating the issue as a simple transaction, security for economic aid, it ignores the deep-seated historical grievances, national aspirations, ideological convictions. Peace is not a business deal, it is a complex process of political reconciliation. This plan demands unconditional surrender from one party, while offering no tangible political horizon, such as statehood self-determination. It is a framework for managing, not resolving, the conflict. Its almost certain failure will likely entrench the positions of extremists and marginalize the voices of moderation on all sides. The immediate risk following the plan's rejection is a rapid and violent escalation. Israel, feeling it has diplomatic cover from Washington, may feel emboldened to act more forcefully than in previous rounds of conflict. Hamas, in turn, will feel it has no option but to resist, potentially leading to a devastating war that would dwarf previous confrontations in its scale and human cost. It would serve as a stark reminder that there are no shortcuts to peace, and that ignoring the political core of a conflict only guarantees its continuation.